Hey everybody, hope everybody's doing okay. Wanted to go through the latest VCV song that I've been working on. It was a generative song, but kind of took on a life of its own. The bones are still there, the generative part's still there, but after I recorded it, I went into Logic and redid a few things um, just to make it fit better, and it kind of turned into a song you might see in a horror movie or something like that. Um, Before I preview the song, need to give a big shout out and thank you to Omri Cohen. He's probably the best VCV teacher I've ever had, and I can't thank him enough for everything. I was actually joking that I probably need to put him on as a co-writer for all the songs that I do because I go through all his tutorials, find the parts that are really cool, which are all of them, but I combine a bunch of his tutorials and just switch the sounds around and kind of do my own thing. But um, it's his tutorials that actually set the groundwork for all of this. So I borrow heavily, and I guess I'm being modest when I say heavily. I borrow a lot from his tutorials. But anyway, let me kind of show you this song. So the song itself is not going to sound the same way the song sounds in Logic because when I recorded it, it's was a recording of that how the VCV and the generative part wanted to do the song. So the song is going to be different this time, but it's the same concept. So what I did here, let me show you real quick. Have these things here. These are called clocked random gates, and what this does is it controls these channels down here. So it fades them in and out, basically turns them on and off, up and down, and it does that randomly, and you can set probabilities through here. So I don't know exactly what they're at, but that's how they work, and they're based off this LFO here that uses a clock. Then I have some send reverb, send delay, and send chorus. So this is the main clock here. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. All right, yeah, I can zoom in. So this is the main clock right here. It's Rampage by Bifaco, and basically it's got two channels here. Into cycles, two channels that I use, and it rises, then it falls, and it rises, then it falls, and it does that at the end of cycle. It does that randomly through a sample and hold. Let me just go through the voices real quick. The first voice is a Arteria CZV, it's called. Let's see what it is. It's basically it's a Casio. I like this preset Artificial Love and tweaked it. I won't go into all the tweaking I did on it. Second thing I did was a bass drone, and that is from it's Psych from Minstrel, and it runs through a filter. Thank you, Omri, and I run it through some LFOs here for some modulation. Okay, that's number one, and two, the bass. The third one is a synth one. It is the scale. It's going through quantum here, and what I used here, I'll show you. I used a matrix from Arteria as well. It was kind of a cool sci-fi sound, and I just tweaked it a bunch to kind of go to make it kind of my own sound. A lot of the Arteria stuff has really good presets, and I sometimes use those, and then we'll tweak it just to make it my own. Okay, so there that one is, and then I have an organ here, and the organ, how it's working is it's going through an address sequencer, and it just does. I forgot how many chords we have here. I think we have 4 chords, and it's running through Universal Audio Waterfall B3. So what that is it's kind of like a B3 Hammond B3, but in a software form. So it's kind of cool. Next thing I did was called Counterpoint. I did this on the another synthesizer. I did the UAD. What I do here? Oh, the Polymax. Yeah, I started to use the precision brass and kind of took it from there. So what that does is when this synth 1 plays, then synth 2 will play differently. It'll counterpoint it, do a counterpoint. The Vox here, I'm not going to go through all these here. So basically what these are like scary people, like demonic laughter, and I guess it's like kids laughing too, like demonic kids laughing. It's kind of creepy. So that's that Vox. The second Vox it's from an old movie, and I can't remember the name of the movie, but the old movie, it's pretty cool. It's royalty free, which is great. So I went and just downloaded the movie and then cut it up, all the dialogue. And I wasn't so concerned about the dialogue. I just wanted something kind of spooky in the background. And you'll see that when we go into Logic. And this is what this plays it all. Um, Last couple things here. I have a choir, a Mellotron choir, which is really cool. So a Mellotron. So I used a White Wedding mixed choir, and then I don't remember. I tweaked it somehow. I did some stuff here, but it's a really cool, like creepy sounding choir. And then the last thing I used was a bell. And if you ever want to use bells, I can't recommend a DX7, real and or fake software version. I've got the software version from Arteria. Tubular bells, tweak it to your liking. You'll never go wrong. That is the sound of bells, and that does an arpeggio. Okay, so that is basically it. So what I'm going to do now is try to get this to close down a little bit. All right, so that's a little too small. Great. All right, welcome to the library. So we got a ton of stuff there. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit play. I'm not going to play a ton of the song because it's going to be different anyway, but just to give you a taste of what it kind of sounds like. And then once the song's over, I'll hit stop, and through the magic of video editing, I will reappear in Logic. Okay, see you in just a bit. And just like that, I am back with the power of video editing. Okay, so what I did originally is I downloaded everything into Logic, and let me go through these real quick. I use color coding. Everybody does color coding different. I use the rainbow colors, so I always use red for drums, orange for bass, yellow for keyboards, green for keyboards, and so on and so forth. So you'll see the color coding here. Just makes it so I can see stuff easier. Because I'm getting old and color coordination really helps with me. Okay, so what I did first is I'm going to go through these pretty quick. So here's what it sounded like originally, the bass. Let me play it real quick for you. Okay, nothing. It's a cool bass sound and all, but first thing I did is I added a manly massive passive, which is a really cool plugin. I wish I had the hardware, but I can't afford the hardware. So here's what it sounds like by itself with the passive massive. It's an EQ. So the low end gets boosted quite a bit there. All right, the next thing I did on this was I added the sausage fattener, and the fattener is really cool. It's made by Dada Life, and let's see, what are we on here? 18%. So watch this guy here. This is what I like to do all the time with him. He goes that way, mean, now he's happy. Now he's mean, now he's happy. Now he's mean, now he's happy. Now he's mean, now he's happy. So he's at 17%. So let me show you what he sounds. Let's put him up to 18. What the heck? Here's what he sounded like. So he does some really cool stuff. See how it fattens the bass up a ton there? So that improved the bass sound. Okay, next thing was the organ, and that was the B3 if you remember. So let's go ahead and just play a quick thing on it. All right, so first thing I did was I added the massive passive again, and I'll play it with and without here. Here is with, here's without. All right, here is without. Here's with. And then I put a tremolo on, just to give it some movement so you hear that. So I gave it some more movement there. Okay, next thing, did the synth here, and originally it sounded like this. I'm just going to turn it up real quick. Still sounded fine. What I really wanted to do was EQ it a bit, so I used the UAD tube channel strip, Century tube channel strip. So take a look what this thing does. Okay, that was without. Here's with. I'm doing a lot of compression there, doing some EQ on there. Just gives, moves it together, makes it sound a little better. So there that one is. Here's the second synth. And it's basically the same thing, I'm guessing. Let me see here. I'll play everything without, with. All right, here's without. Here's with. Yeah, I did the same thing, basically. Okay, and next thing I have is a pad. So the pad is, go over here, do the pad. Here's the pad without everything. I'll turn it up a little bit. So it's kind of got that cool eerie sound. So in order to enhance that, I use this EQ, which I'd never really used before, but it's really cool. It's called it's the Hitsville EQ from UAD, Universal Audio, and it's got these fixed frequencies in here, so that's basically what you're getting. So as you can see here, I dropped the sub down because there's no sub in there, dropped the bass down, boosted the mids at 320, boosted the low mids at 320, boosted the mids at 800, cranked some 2,000, about 4,000 or 5,000. I went up a little higher, and 12,500, I went up a little higher. So here's what it sounds like with that. So it adds quite a bit of difference, and I kind of like that fixed frequency stuff. Kind of makes it easier, less choices. Okay, next thing, I had a choir here. So the choir. See what they do. Okay, so that choir. What I put on there is I put the Vox box on here. So the Vox box is another UAD thing. If you can't tell, I got the UAD Spark subscription. I got it on sale for like, I don't know, $100 for the year, and you get a ton of these plugins, which is really cool because I've always wanted to. I played with them before, but I've never really had them. So this is kind of cool. So the Vox box, it basically, you got your compressor over here. You got a de-esser over here. You got some EQ over here, and you got some, mic pre over here. So what this does, let me play it without. All right, sounds fine. Here it is with them on. That's quite a bit of difference, huh? That's all I did there. And if you have any questions on how I did any of this or want me to go more in depth, let me know. I'm just kind of cruising through here showing you what I did. All right, so let's go here to the vocals. This is the main vocal part, that movie I was talking about. And I'll find the name of the movie and put it in the notes or put it in the YouTube description if I can remember to do that. So basically, I went through the movie, chopped up the vocals. Here's what the vocals sound like without anything in them.
Why did you marry her? We had a different plan.
Then I thought she was a poor imbecile, ugly and repulsive.
And instead, she is beautiful and reminds you of Muriel. You are still in love with that witch.
As far as witches are concerned, talk.
Okay, so that's what I did. I wasn't real precise on editing the vocals out, so you're going to hear some, I didn't I just didn't edit all the breaths perfectly and all that, but I didn't need to. It's the kind of song I was going for. It wasn't to be polished, these vocals. So what I added on here, first thing I added on was Sound City Studios, which is a big reverb. So listen to this thing here. So what I did is I put room mics on here. I believe I put these, yeah, I put a room mic on, and I did close-ups, and put the C12 on here, which is really expensive. And okay, here's what it sounds like.
Why did you marry her? We had a different plan.
Then I thought she was a poor imbecile, ugly.
So that's kind of fun. So, gives it the reverb. And then I put Echo Boy on. And Echo Boy, I put it on the Memory Man. It's doing the 16th dotted note. Feedback's just a bit. I've got it not quite halfway on the mix, but this is what it sounds like.
Why did you marry her? We had a different plan.
Then I thought she was a poor imbecile, ugly and repulsive.
And instead she is beautiful and reminds you of Muriel. You are still in...
So you see that fits it better in the mix. Okay, towards the end of the song, I put in here where whoever the main character is, says no, no, no. But I couldn't get it to fit right, so what I did here is show you what it sounds like by itself. Solo here. Great. I've been using Logic for 15 years, and I just got confused on that. All right, here we go.
No!
All right, so that's what she says at the end of the song. So first thing I did is I used that reverb, and it sounds a little different. Here it is with reverb.
No!
It's pretty cool.
No! No!
All right, there's the reverb. And then I put Echo Boy Jr. on here because Echo Boy Jr. is not as complex as Echo Boy. So the echo time, I didn't really time it. I just put it to where it sounded right to me. And here's what it sounds like.
No!
So I'll do it one more time. So it kind of fades out. It's kind of cool. All right, so there that is. And then I think, is this the last thing here? Yeah. All right, these are the creepy vocals I was talking to you about. And I already processed them through, it looks like. So there's nothing on the channel itself. And this is kind of what they sound like. Yeah, that's creepy. So it goes throughout the song. And the last thing I'll show you is on the stereo bus. Usually I don't put a lot of stuff on the stereo bus, but I figured since I just have U8A Spark, I may as well have some fun with it. So I put the massive passive here, and that's just to EQ the whole thing. It's just not doing a ton of stuff. And the second thing is I put the compressor on, the steerable. Sorry, my dog's barking. The variable MU limiter compressor on. And the last thing I did is I put the mag EQ on and boosted everything around 40. No reason whatsoever, just it sounded good, so that's what it sounds like. And here we go. I'll show you what everything sounds like. Okay, that's about it. If you have any questions, leave a comment or shoot me an email at jason@mrkaplan.co. My website is currently down. I mean, it works, but I'm kind of trying to redo it, and it's just taking more time than I thought. So I'll have that up and running hopefully sooner rather than later. The full song will be on YouTube as well. It'll probably be I'm gonna put it in this folder, so you'll have the tutorial and kind of the walkthrough, and then the full song. And again, thanks again for sticking around, and thanks for listening. If you have any questions, again, let me know. Thanks. Bye.